Wickersham. Hey, good morning. Thank you for joining us. We're here on the Roundhouse Roundup, and we have a special edition today that we're doing, and we're joined today by Senator David Gallegos. I'm Senator Craig Brandt, your host, and we also have John Wickersham here from the Española Fire Department. We're going to talk a little bit about the baby boxes and what they do, and how that's changed things in the state of New Mexico. They're really excited about it, and so I just want to, David, you were the legislator that really led in this, but I understand that John is one of the first people that jumped on board and supported it. Tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
I appreciate it. So I do follow John a lot, all across the state. He actually gave me a ride to Roswell and then to Belen recently to make sure I made some meetings. But Española is unique. They had a problem. They found a solution. And it just happened to be at the same time that the baby was being thrown off in Hobbs. That got me started on this. But Española was the first baby box installed, and they didn't wait on the legislature. They did not wait on government to solve their problem.
Wow.
They solved it. And it goes back to John with Wickersham. All we've done around the state, he's been there to support it and to advocate for the safe haven box. But it's one of those things that, to me, are remarkable. Even though I'm part of the fight, that he actually led the fight. So
Nice.
The ordinances I sent around the state, because people call me, they'll ask, how do we get this started? I use his ordinance that they started in Española, and I tell them, change the name, change the date, change the information. But this is a good blueprint.
Put it in the state format that we need, and let's run with it.
And they
Exactly.
did not wait. So, John, I don't know if you want to talk about how you started and how it started in Española, because it is.
John, tell us a little bit about why it's important to you.
Okay.
Why was this important to you to get going?
Yeah, so I was adopted growing up, so I love that, and I want to thank my birth mother for giving me up, and just I don't know her, but if she's listening and she knows me, I just want to thank her, for doing the right thing. But so in the city of Española, we're just like any other municipality. We have our own problems. And it was about 2018, 2019. I think it was 2018 is when we found a baby in a trash bag. State police found this baby discarded. And so it was big news in Española. And so my friend sent me a Safe Haven baby box video, YouTube on the box. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. This is really cool. I really didn't even know much about the Safe Haven laws, that you could take a baby to a fire station or police station or hospital 90 days or younger and give your baby up if you couldn't take care of it. So I didn't really know about the law. And so I started looking into it, and I sent the video to the mayor, and I said, hey, this is something that we need to look into and see if we can do. Javier Sanchez was the mayor at the time. He said, yeah, this is interesting. This is nice. This is something that would benefit the community. Let's run with it. So we reached out to the legislature. We tried to amend the bill that year. It didn't go through. Our lawyers looked at it, liability, here and there. So it took a few years, and I kept pushing every year. Every year we pushed. We got with Castellanos and Representative Castellano and yourself in 22, I believe it was. We had a bill make it all the way to the floor, which was awesome and exciting to see the procedure. And that's where I really got into politics, into how bills work. Working with the bill writer, it was so much fun. And so finally that year was the year that the baby was thrown into the dumpster in Hobbs. And so I went back to the mayor and I said, this is taking too long. We need to do something. We have to get this done. This is going to save babies. So the mayor at the time said, let's do it. Let's get it done. So we went ahead and we took it to council, took the city ordinance to council, got it approved. And we got the first baby box in New Mexico. Wow. Monica awesome. Kelsey, CEO of Safe Haven Baby Boxes, donated the first box to us. So we're really grateful for her. We didn't really have to get the money. They're well designed, well thought out devices. They're not just a box in a wall.
Right.
They're temperature regulated. They have 3 different alarms. Once the mother opens the door to the box, an alarm goes off, triggers us. If they're in fire stations that are manned 48 hours or 24 hours a day. We're there for 2 days. But they're in a fire station where we're there. If we're out on a call, the door opens and it triggers an alarm to dispatch, and we get called out, and we respond anywhere within the city within 5 minutes. So we'll be there and pull that baby out of the box within that time frame. So yeah, really well thought out, designed device. They're pretty expensive. They're about $20,000. So she donated that box to us for the first box in New Mexico, which was huge. The installation was about $7,000. That's where we got the legislature and working with David Gallegos to get one per county. I think that year you got $320,000 for capital outlay to get a box one per county. And we're working on it. We're getting close. I think we have 7 installed in the state of New Mexico now. We've saved 2 babies. 2 babies have been placed in the box within a year, within a short amount of time.
Yeah, that's awesome, John. And
yeah,
then, actually during the session this year in January, we actually had a baby you put in one of those boxes.
Yep.
And David, you have been instrumental in helping get these put across the state, and I really appreciate it. Saving lives is a really important thing. And as a fireman, that's what you do, right? You save lives, you're involved in saving lives. So it makes a lot of sense for this to be something that you're passionate about. And thank you for sharing with us your personal story about being adopted. That is awesome. I just, it's such an awesome thing. David, so we've got 8 or 7, we got 33 counties,
right?
What's been the holdup? Why are we having a struggle getting these in every county and every city? Honestly, I'm actually pretty upset with my own city because they haven't done this. So why hasn't the city of Rio Rancho done this?
Well, they're actually waiting on us. We have an issue with the statute, and we're trying to correct that in the next few days. The statute forces CYFD and state police to look into the abandonment issue, even if the child is not harmed. We really did during session. I had a bill this year. It didn't see the light of day, but even in the last 2 days, Gail Armstrong from the House and Ambrose Cassiano started a bill, and I tried to get it over here so we can negotiate and get it out soon. We had 2 days. It still could have been resolved, but we're currently working with CYFD to find the language. We know the language, find a resolution of the language so that if the baby is harmed, that is a total different issue. Then they kick it into overdrive to try to find out who harmed the child.
Right.
If the baby is whole and healthy, then it goes through the CYFD process to be cared for the 30, 60, 90 days that are demanded. And then that first piece is foster parent, then go into the adoption process. So we're working on that. I think we're really, really close. We're trying to get ahead of it in case we had a special session. I don't think that's happening anymore, but we'll at least be ready for next session to have both sides, House and Senate, Republican and Democrat. We're going to have a discussion with the governor's office. We're having a discussion with CYFD and also the Department of Public Safety. If all those entities agree on the language, then it should be a really easy run through on next session. The other thing is what we want now is to understand the protection of the mother right now, because if we start threatening to seek them out,
right,
for whatever reason.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, one of the concerns of a prospective mother giving up her child would be, they're wanting to do this anonymously.
They do.
Would be, having then law enforcement trying to find them. And
right.
That might hinder them or keep them from doing the right thing if they can't take care of that child and give them the life that child deserves. So is that one of the things you're trying to deal with in the bill, is to make sure that when the baby is given up, that there's not an investigation done, unless there's harm,
gives her the
to make sure that mother or it could be a father,
Mhm.
right? I mean, there could be a situation where it's a father who has the responsibility and gives up a child. We don't really care which parent or who the
Right.
guardian is. What we really care about is the child.
Correct. And
And
safety.
so we want to do what's the best thing for the child. And that's
Right.
what we're really asking. So it sounds like we need to do some work on legislation to make sure that the process is a little cleaner, a little smoother. And I give you my word as the Republican whip that I will make it a priority for our
appreciate it.
caucus to work with the Democrat side and make sure that it gets through.
No, and I think once we resolve that, cities like Rio Rancho will have the freedom and the comfort that they aren't going to have some kind of liability and protection for the mom and the child. So, like I say, we're getting closer in the writing of the bill. It's just a matter of just jumping through a few more hoops, getting everybody basically in the same room
Mhm.
to hash out all the issues to make sure that we have protection for the child and for the mother. So we're getting closer.
That's great. And, John, again, is there anything else you wanted to add on that? Do you see those, you see that the law needs to be changed?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like, and I really want to, Española is a great city to step up and do this. Liability be damned, we're going to take care of the baby.
Exactly.
Right. And I honestly, I'm a little disappointed in my own community and the leadership there for not doing that. I'm
Yeah.
just going to be honest with you. I think every community ought to be willing to stand up and say, you know what, we'll take the liability on.
Yeah.
And then the legislature can come and fix that issue. But
Yeah, for sure.
these save lives. I mean,
Yep, and it's already proven. It's already saved 2 within a short period of time.
mhm.
So we've already changed the narrative where, Hobbs was kind of having a bad rap for a while
Right.
with babies being abandoned. And now with this baby that was placed in the baby box, the narrative is being changed, and hopefully for the better, and it looks like it is.
It is.
So, that's awesome, and it's encouraging, and and I've had nothing but positive feedback and communities that really want these, but some of them are scared. And I'm so grateful for the 7 and the ones that are actually going to move forward again. I think Roswell's next.
Portales.
Portales, yes,
Awesome.
Portales.
Awesome.
Roswell already has one. Portales is next. Las Vegas reached out to us. Los Alamos reached out to us. So even communities that are pretty well off
Mhm.
Are seeing the need, and I think
Absolutely.
that's where they need to be. Even they might have a pretty wealthy community, but they still have the same problems that every community has, and so I'm
Yeah,
glad
absolutely.
to see
And this really gives an opportunity for you know a young mother, young father, maybe an older one, right?
Mhm.
That they don't have the ability to take care of the child, to provide for the child, uh, and instead of doing what we all look at and say, oh my gosh, that's unheard of. How could you do that to your baby? Throwing them in the trash can. This gives the opportunity for them to be able to say, I love my baby, and because I love my baby, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it up to someone that can take care of it better than I am able to right now. Maybe it's a drug issue, maybe it's some other kind of issue, maybe it's a mental health issue, and they're saying, I can't give for that baby, like your mother did, your birth mother did, and then you were adopted by a great family who raised you, and obviously did a great job because you're the deputy chief in Española, the fire department. And so I thank you for advocating for that. I think this is a great program, a great way of doing this. David, thank you for being the spearhead of this here in the Senate and in the legislature. Really appreciate your work with this. And being pro-life is more than about pre-birth. It's about saving lives every day of those who are born. And so hopefully this will help get the word out on these, because people need to know. These young people need to know. We need to have the awareness that they can do this if they need to, that they don't have to resort to allowing their child to die. They don't have to resort to throwing their child in the trash can. They can let that child go to a family. We have lots and lots of families that want to adopt babies, right? So, let's get them to a family that can give them a great life, or let's get you the help to be the parent you want to be. So I hope this will go, this podcast will help let people know about this program. And then as we go forward, I think that's one of the things we'll need to do is address getting the word out there and letting people know and letting communities know that they're available. Thank you guys for being lifesavers. I know you are every day, but David, you are as well.
Well,
And
thank
so
you.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you for having
appreciate
us.
what you do. With that, thank you for joining us today. How can you help? We always try to put an action in. You can help by, if there's not one of these in your community, get a hold of your city councils, get a hold of your county commissions and say, yeah, the legislature's working on getting this fixed, but we need to start now to save lives today. We can take on a little bit of liability. They take on liability every time they pull someone over. They take on liability every time they respond to a fire, every time they respond to an accident. We can take on a little bit of liability to save a baby's life until the legislature gets this fixed. So call your councilman, call your commissioners. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again. We do these on Tuesdays, usually at 10:30. This one's a special episode, so it probably won't go out on Tuesday, but we'll let you know in the Facebook page when it's going to be played. And thank you for joining us, and join us next time on Roundhouse Roundup on Tuesdays at 10:30ish. Thank you again.